أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي زدني علما وأجمعين إن شاء الله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to LQ Milton class number 40. Alhamdulillah. Today is a very important class. All classes are important, but today specifically we are further our knowledge in verbs and the verbal sentences. In book 1, Dr. Saab basically emphasized on the nouns mostly, and he introduced a couple of verbs here and there just for understanding. In book 2, we'll begin our understanding of the verbs. We will try to identify the files, the doer of the action, and the objects or maf'ul on which the action has been performed. Right? So, today we'll start. First, we will understand the concept that Dr. Saab is trying to teach us in lesson number 5. Very important, because once we understand this topic, we will start with the very basic and slowly begin to go to the advanced level. But even with the basic understanding of this concept of object or maf'ulun bihi, a lot of the things in Quran will start to make sense. Most of the words that we read in Quran, and without knowing the Arabic language, we would think that this is a one word. It's actually not a one word. There are actually 3 words in it, or 2 words. So once we understand, we have the knowledge, then we should be able to identify what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to say to us in the Quran. What is a verbal sentence? We already know that. When a sentence that begins with a verb, it is a verbal sentence. We know that. And then over the past many classes, even though in book 2 Dr. Saab is introducing the verbs, we've been preparing ourselves in bits and pieces. So this should not be a surprise to most of the people who've been attending the classes in the past. Okay, it should be an easy concept for them to understand. Whenever there is an action, this is the normal sequence of a verbal sentence. Is the normal sequence of the verbal sentence is, first the action will come, the verb, then the file or the doer of the action will come. That is a minimum requirement. So maybe I can put a bracket here, a minimum requirement. Whenever there is an action, there has to be a doer of the action. So when a verb comes, our first job is to identify the action and then to identify who's the doer of the action in the sentence. And we know that in a verbal sentence, any noun that is marfu, whether it comes right after the verb or in the middle of the verb or at the end of the verb, at end of the sentence, anything that is marfu, any noun that is marfu is your file or the doer of the action. So you just close your eyes and you just say, this is my file. I keep repeating it because repetition will make us strong. Now, in a verbal sentence, if the action is performed on something, then we call it maf'ul or the object. Now, maf'uls, how do we identify a maf'ul or an object in a verbal sentence? Is that maf'ul is mansoob. So when there is a verb there and there is a file which is marfu, then if there is a noun which is mansoob, then we can identify it as the object or the maf'ulun bihi. High level concept. Now, before we continue with the sequence of the verbal sentence, there is one thing we should keep in mind. Even in English grammar, similar to English grammar, in Arabic grammar, the verbs can be identified as transitive, intransitive, transitive, intransitive. Transitive mean al mutaaddi or intransitive mean al lazim. What is this categorization of the verb? That is the basic question. When there is an action and then the verb is coming and it requires an object, then we classify that verb as transitive. Okay. For example, if I say fataha, what is the meaning of fataha? He opened, right? So whenever there is a verb that comes to our attention, we need to identify it as either transitive or intransitive, right? This is for us to understand. If it is transitive, then it requires an object, the maf'ul, or we call it maf'ulun bihi, right? How do we identify a verb as transitive or intransitive? That is the main concept. When a verb comes, then we say to the verb what or whom. Okay, so remember these two words, what and whom. So when I say fataha, now listen, when I say fataha, he opened, and I say he opened what? It makes sense. He opened something, right? So he opened what? So if what qualifies or it makes sense, then immediately I would identify that verb as transitive, because he opened something. It needs a maf'ulun bihi, an object. Or whom, what and whom, those two, if those make sense. So this is an easy formula. If the what and whom does not make sense in a verb, then we call it intransitive or lazim or complete verb. It does not need an object. On a very basic level, it does not need an object or the maf'ulun bihi. Now let's try and see. We have few verbs here, okay, and let's see if we can identify each of them either as transitive or intransitive, al mutaaddi or al lazim. Okay, it's very easy. What are we asking? What and whom? Fataha means he opened. He opened what? Transitive. Okay, transitive. Kasara. What is the meaning of kasara? He broke. He broke. Right now, apply what or whom. He broke what? Transitive. It makes sense, right? Raja'a. He returned. He returned what? Or he returned whom? Doesn't make any sense because returning physically himself, right? So it is intransitive. Jalasa. He sat.
Raja is transitive or intransitive?
Intransitive because like I said, it's yourself. Oneself is returning, not returning something. Yeah. Yeah. Jalasa. Jalasa, he sat. When I say returning means returning oneself, right? Not returning in English grammar we say I returned my pen. That's not what it means, right? Jalasa. He sat. He sat what or whom does not make any sense. So that makes jalasa as intransitive. Kharaja. He left. Now again apply what or whom? Intransitive, because what or whom does not apply in this case. Kataba. He wrote. He wrote what? That makes sense. So I would classify it as transitive. Hafiza. He memorized. He memorized. He memorized what? Transitive. It needs maf'ulun bihi, right? And fahima, he understood. He understood what? It's a transitive. It needs maf'ulun bihi or object. So this is the first litmus test that we perform on a verb to identify it as a transitive or intransitive. Now when we are reading Quran and then we don't have to identify, I mean, but for our own understanding we need to know what kind of verbs would need maf'ulun bihi or the object. Khalaqa. Is it transitive or intransitive? He created. Is it intransitive or transitive? Transitive. He created something, or in a case of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, someone, right? He created. So this is a transitive verb, right? So when khalaqa comes, then we are looking for fail, we are looking for file, and then we are looking for an object, right? Sometimes, and this is something at an advanced level in book 3, sometimes the maf'ulun bihi is mawzoof, but it is understood in the ayah, but that's something we will learn in book 3. At this time when I say khalaqa, he created, so this is a transitive or al mutaaddi verb. It needs a maf'ulun bihi or an object. Let's take a look at one of the sentence here. Khalaqallahul insana. Is this a verbal sentence? Yes. Where is the fail? Khalaqa. Where is the file? So right after khalaqa comes a noun, Allahu, which is marfu. So I immediately know that this is my file. Why al insanu is al insana? Why it is mansub? Allah created whom or what? Both qualifies, right? So al insana is your maf'ul, object. So when we read the Quran and then we come across a verb, so we identify the file, and then if it's a transitive verb or al mutaaddi, we also identify the maf'ulun bihi or the object on whom or on what the action has been performed. If I want, okay, before, so this is a normal sequence of the verbal sentence. What is this column here? Damirun muttasilun, attached pronoun. Attached pronoun. When attached pronoun, they have to attach to themselves to something, right? They cannot come on their own. We already learned that. When they attach themselves to a noun, then they become mudaf alayh. When they attach themselves to harf jar, they become ism majroor. When they attach themselves with inna, for example, they become ismu inna mansoob, right? When they attach themselves to an adverb or zarf, they become mudaf alayh. So they have to attach to something, and whenever they attach to something, then they perform a function, right? What happens when these damirun muttasilun or attached pronouns attach themselves to a verb? Then they become maf'ulun bihi. Remember that. Then they become maf'ulun bihi. Okay, and but we don't put a fatha there because they are all mabni. If I say minhu, from him, so even though it is who, but my mind knows that it is ism majroor. But then when who is attached to khalaqa who, then I know this is mansoob. Let's try and do the conjugation of khalaqa. Now remember, the basic, the minimum requirement for a jumla failure is to identify the fail and the file. Khalaqa, right? Khalaqa, where is the fail? Khalaqa, where is the file? Mustatir taqdiruhu huwa. Khalaqa, alif is the file. Khalaqu, waw is the file. Khalaqat, mustatir taqdiruhu hiya. This ta is representing taw tanisi. Khalaqata, alif is the file. Khalaqna, noon is the file. Khalaqta, khalaqtuma, khalaqtum, khalaqti, khalaqtuma, khalaqtunna, khalaqtu, khalaqna, ta, tumatum, ti, tumatunna, tuna, they are all files. So if I say khalaqtu, I created, it's a complete jumla failure, but it is a transitive verb, right? I created what or whom, then we will probably need a maf'ulun bihi, right? So let's take khalaqa and attach this damir muttasil with this noun, then it becomes khalaqahu. He created him, right? Because who is him? If I attach huma, he created two of them, masculine. Khalaqahum, he created them, more than two, masculine, plurals. Khalaqaha, he created her. Khalaqahuma, he created two of them, dual, feminine. Khalaqahunna, he created them, third person, plural, feminine. Khalaqaka In Quran, khalaqaka comes many times. He created you, singular, masculine, right? Second person. Khalaqakum, khalaqakuma, he created both of them, masculine, second person. Khalaqakum, khalaqaki, he created you, feminine, singular, second person. Khalaqakuma, khalaqakunna, he created you all, feminine, plurals, second person. Khalaqani, he created me. Khalaqana, khalaqana, he created us. So when these damirun muttasilun attach with the noun, then they become maf'ulun bihi. When I say khalaqahu, where is the fail? Khalaqa. Where is the fa'il? Mustatir. Taqdiruhu huwa. And then him is your maf'ulun bihi object. Ali bhai, clear? Khalaqahullahu. Is this a jumla failure or a verbal sentence? Yes, it is. Khalaqahullahu. Where is the action? Where is the fail? Khalaqa. Where is the file? Where is the file? No, Allahu. Remember when in a verbal sentence, whenever there is a noun which is marfu, we immediately identify it as the file. So Allah created. Now in this case it's not mustatir. In this case it is not mustatir, because if I remove Allah from here, then it is mustatir taqdiruhu huwa, somebody, right? But in this case I am specifying Allah created, because Allah who comes in this jumla, Allah is the file. Khalaqahullahu, Allah created him, right? So if I say khalaqakallahu, Allah created you, and I can use any of these damirun muttasilun and attach them to khalaqa, and then I can say Allah created you, Allah created all of us, Allah created me, Allah created us, Allah created you, feminine second person, masculine second person, or plural or duals. I can do that, right? So khalaqahullahu is, in this case, who is your object? Maf'ulun bihi, right? So as an example, we have chosen two examples from Quran. For example, wara'aitan nasa. What is ra'a? Ra'a means he saw. When I say ra'a, he saw, is it transitive or intransitive? He saw what? Or he saw whom? Both qualifies. Immediately I know this is transitive. Al mutaaddi. So I know that I would need an object now. So wara'aitan nasa, wa is your ataf, because this ayah is matufun ala previous ayah, iza ja'a nasrullahi wal fath. Ra'aitan nasa, let's say where is the fail? Ra'i. Where is the file? Ta, you, singular, second person, right? You saw what? Or whom? An-nasa. That is why we don't say an-nasu in Quran. Now we know why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling an-nasa, because this is the object or the maf'ulun bihi of what you saw. And in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to us one-on-one basis, singular, second person. Second one is khalaqal insana min alaq. Khalaqal insana min alaq. Now in this case, Sardar Sahab, khalaqa is your fail. Where is the file? Mustatir. Mustatir. Taqdiruhu huwa. And this ayah is going back to Iqra bi ismi rabbikal lazi. Rabbi. And yudallu ala Rabbi, your Rabb. Right? Huwa goes to Rabbika, your Rabb. Al insana is your mafulun bihi, your object. He created al insan from alaq. Just two examples. This is all we are learning, very basic. But this foundation will help us further our knowledge of the fail, file and maf'ul. And similar concept is applied when we are talking about the mudare form. I mean, once it is transitive, it always remains transitive, right? Whether it is in a madi form or in a mudare form, or it is fi'lu amrin. When we say in Suratul Fatiha, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. So basically what we are saying is na'buduka, na'buduka, right? Abada means he worshipped, right? Abada ya'budu. Ya'budu is mudare. Remember in the last class we kind of say the ya, the ta, the hamza and the na identifies that it is a mudare. So na'budu, we worship. Is this transitive or intransitive verb? It is transitive. We worship what? Or we worship whom? Right? So it needs a maf'ulun bihi. We need to clarify what do we worship, right? Na'buduka means we worship you. And who's you? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Yudullu ala, it goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when we say iyyaka na'budu, I think we have done that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala broke, well actually not, he didn't break, but he said in this na'buduka it is a complete jumla failure, but I come before your worship. So I'm not going to follow the normal sequence of a verbal sentence. For me to emphasize myself, I'm going to put myself first before your worship. So what Allah does, he takes ka, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and bring it iyyaka. Iyyaka na'budu, and ka is moved here. Only you we worship. So now the emotions and the gravity of the sentence is entirely changed. Now the emphasis is on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our worship is after. And ka we knows is damirun muttasilun, and it has to attach to something. So right now it is attaching itself to iyyaka. Only you, only you. What is iyya? We'll learn it in book 3, right? But the translation, only you we worship, only you we seek help. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, right? So So in this case ka is your maf'ulun bihi, but it is not a normal sequence, and this is how the emotions are created in the Quran. Okay, so when we read the translation, only we worship and only we seek help from, no, there are emotions behind it, and this is how the emotions are created in the Quran for us, that it impacts our heart directly. So next time in our salah, when we come to this, remember that this is not a normal sequence. There are emotions created behind it. Ji naam bhai. Now let's practice something. Lesson number 5, page number 30 in the old book and in the new book. Sada sir, 42 in the new book and the old book, page number 30, lesson number 5. This is a conversation between Ali, Hamid, Abbas, Talha, Faisal and the teacher. Okay, they are talking among themselves, and in this lesson Dr. Saab is bringing in both the transitive and intransitive verbs, and when we go and read through the lesson, we will identify them. We will identify where is the verb, we will identify where is the file, and we will identify where is the maf'ul. This is clear, right, Ali bhai? It is clear. Okay. Ad-darsul khamisu, lesson number 5. Al-mudarris, the teacher said, man fataha bab al-fasli. Okay, fataha. Okay, first in this sentence the verb comes. So step number 1, is it a transitive or intransitive? It is transitive, al-mutaaddi, right? So who opened what? Baba. You see how Baba is mansoob here? So this is my maf'ul. Bab al fasli, wahuwa, it is mudaf, and al fasli is your mudaf alayh. So who opened door of the class? Number, you're okay?
Yeah, just right.
आप लेट जाएं. Man fataha bab al fasli, who opened the door of the class? Hamid said, ana fatahtuhu. What kind of jumla is this? It is a jumla ismiya, nominal sentence. Where is the mubtada? Ana. Where is the khabar? Jumla failure, coming as the khabar. And where is the jumla failure? Fatah tu hu. I break it up. How many words in fatah tu hu? 3 words. Where is your action? Fatah, opening. Opening is the action. Where is the file? Tu. Tu is the file. I opened, right? Fatah tu hu. Who is your object? So I opened it. Opened what? Bab al fasli, door of the class. So this is exactly what Dr. Saab is trying to teach us. When we read the Quran and there is a one word comes, we don't consider it before our knowledge. We would consider it one word, but it is not. There are 3 words in it: fail, file, and maf'ulun bihi. Al-Mudarris said, "Waman fatahal nafavisa," and who opened what? Al-nawafiza, the windows. And who opened the windows? Nawafiza is mansoob because it is an object. Now we are dealing in transitive verbs, so we are bringing in the objects, and those objects are mansoob. Ali said, ana fatah tu ha. See, fatah tu ha, I opened them. Ana is your mubtada, fatah tu ha is a jumla failure coming as a khabar for ana. We know there are 5 types of khabar. So where is the file? Where is the fail? Fatah, opening. Tu, file, me, I opened. And ha is, now why this is ha here? kullu jama muannas. Okay, kullu jama muannas, we know that the ghair akil group, when they are plurals, then they are treated as singular feminine. So ha comes. Then Mudarris said, now all of these verbs basically are selected from this lesson. So we already know which one is transitive and which one is not transitive. So it will come. Then Al Mudarris said, Man kasara hazal maktaba. Who broke this desk? Okay. Kasara. What is the meaning of kasara? He broke. Is it transitive? Yes, it is transitive, because he broke what? So man kasara, where is the maf'ulun bihi? Where is the object? Haza. Haza is the maf'ulun bihi, because there is a desk in front of the teacher and he is saying man kasara haza. So haza is your maf'ulun bihi and it is mansub, but it is mabni. And what is al maktaba? Badal. And what is the litmus test for badal? Remove al maktaba, the sentence still makes sense. Remove haza from this sentence, still makes sense, right? Still al maktaba will act as a maf'ulun bihi in this sentence. Then he continues saying, anta kasartahu ya Hashim. Did you break it, O Hashim? Anta kasartahu, kasar ta hu, kasar ta hu. Did you break it? Right, Inam bhai? Not broke it, break it. I'm very conscious now. Made me so conscious. Anta kasartahu, did you break it, O Hashim? And Hashim said, La, harful jawab. No, he denied. Inni ma kasartuhu. Inni ma kasar tu hu. Indeed, I did not break it. Okay. Inna comes. Where is ismu inna? Ya mutakallim ismu inna. You know, when inna comes, we are always looking for ismu inna. Right? Ya mutakallim, your ismu inna mansubun. And where is khabar inna? Ma kasartahu, kasartuhu. I did not. Ma is your harfun nafi, kasar is your fail, tu is your file, and hu is your maf'ulun bihi. So he said, I did not break it, the desk. Then Al Mudarris said, A raja'a. ना भाई ये आपका पहला वाला सवाल था, इसलिए क्या आ गया? आ रजा ज़करिया व हमज़तु व उस्मानु मिन मक्का. Did Zakaria, Hamza, Usmanu returned from Makkah? Zakaria, Hamza and Usman returned from Makkah. Then Hamis said what? Inam bhai, pay attention. La ma rajau. Because we are talking about a personal return, a person who is returning. Okay, so now we don't need a maf'ul here. We are talking about personal return. La, no, harful jawab, ma rajau, they did not return. Right? And where is ma is the harfu nafi, and where is the file in rajau? Wow, wow is the file. Wow is the file. Abbas said, Ya Ustazu, O teacher. Okay, this is a beautiful sentence. Okay, let's spend some time on it. Kharajat tullabul jududu wa zahabu ilal mudiri. Teacher said, Abbas said, O teacher, Ya Ustazu, O teacher. Kharajat tullabul jududu wa zahabu ilal mudiri. What kind of sentence is that? Verbal sentence. Kharaja is your fail, the verb. Is it transitive or intransitive? It is intransitive. Kharaja means he returned. He left. Sorry, he left. He left, right? So where is the file in this sentence? at-tullabu, right? At-tullabu is the file. Al-jududu, what is the grammatical value of al-jududu? Not. So the new students left. Was zahabu ilal mudiri, and they went to the principal or headmaster. Okay, where is the file in zahabu? What is zahaba? He went. Intransitive. The action is complete. Jalasa, he sat. Action is complete. That's it. Al-lazim, complete verb. Zahaba, he left. He went. Right. Kharaja, he left. That's it. Action is complete. So we then Abbas is saying the new students left and went to the headmaster. Okay, in this sentence kharaja and zahaba, they are both intransitive, so therefore we do not see the maf'ul or the objects because they are intransitive.
Just a quick question. जिस पहले वाला सेंटेंस है खरजत तुल्लाबु जुदुदु, तो तुल्लाबु जो है plural है, right? So खरजा
Yes, yes.
should not be खरजता.
No. I get the, kharaju. I get the question. Okay, this is a very good question. Okay, I'll explain it a bit more detail. The question is, at-tullabu is plural, the students, right? But the verb that is used is kharaja. The verb that is used is kharaja, which is singular, third person, right? Why? Now remember, even if the sentence is beginning with the verb, which is a jumla fi'liya, even if and the file is present, which is in plural, we would still use the singular Faraz Bhai, because if I say kharajut tullabu, then I'm talking about two files here. In kharaju, waw is the file and then at-tullabu is the file. So grammatically we only want one file, right? So that's why we use kharaja. But this is a concept we will learn, but this is a very good question. You get it?
Yeah, I got it. So it means that whenever there's file present.
Yes, and it is plural. The verb before it used will be singular.
Okay.
Right, because then we are dealing with two types of files now. But this is an advanced
Tullabu, then it could be just kharaj.
that's right. So you remove tullabu and then you just say kharaju,
Okay.
right? Then you say kharaju. So this is what it's a bit advanced concept, but I think you brought it, so it's good that if somebody who understood it is good. Then al-mudarris said, afahimta ad-darsa ya Talha? Al-mudarris said, fahima, he understood. Is it transitive or intransitive? Transitive. He understood what? Fahimta, did you understand? Understand what? Ad-darsa, mafulun bihi, the lesson. O Talha said, Naam, harful jawab, yes. Fahim to who? Jaidan. Fahim to who? He said, Naam, yes, harful jawab, I understood it. Where is the action? The action of understanding? Fahim. Where is the file? To, I. And where is the object? Who? It. So there are three words in fahim. Fahim to who? And Jaidan is your maf'ulun mutlaq. Al-mudarris said, akatabta al-ajwibata ya Faisal, did you write? Kataba means he wrote transitive. He wrote what? It needs a maf'ulun bihi. Katabta, did you write? Where is the maf'ulun bihi, the object? Al ajwibata, the answers. Did you write the answers, O Faisal? And Faisal said, La. Harful jawab, no, la. Ma katab tu ha. Katab tu ha. I did not write it or them.
Yeah.
I did not write them because it is kullu jama muannas. Because al ajwibata, the answers is ghair akil, plurals, so they are treated as singular feminine. So ha, I did not write them. Al mudarris said, limaza, why? Faisal said, liannani. What is lianna? We did that in the last class. Because li plus anna, because li anna, and when anna comes, what are we looking for? Ismu. Where is that? Ya mutakallim, right? Ya mutakallim is ismu anna. Because I ma fahimtul as'ilata. Ma is your harfu nafi, because I did not understand the questions. Fahimtu, fahim is your fail, tu is your file, and as'ilata is your maf'ulun bihi, object, because he did not understand, but he did not understand what? As'ilata, the questions. That's why he didn't write the answer. Then al mudarris said, hafizta, hafiza, he memorized. He memorized what? He memorized what? So we need, it's a transitive, so we need a maf'ulun bihi, an object. Hafizta surata, did you memorize the surah al fajri? Surat al fajri. Now surata is your maf'ulun bihi wa huwa mudaf, and al fajri is mudaf alayh. Did you memorize? Al mudarris is asking Ibrahim, did you memorize the surah of Fajr, ya Ibrahim? And what is Ibrahim said? Naam. Yes, harful jawab. Hafiz tu ha. I memorized it. I memorized it, because we are talking about surah, which is feminine, because it ends with a tautanasi, right? I memorized it. Wa hafiztu, waw is your ataf, and hafiztu surat tini aidan. Hafiztu, I memorized surah. Surata is your maf'ulun bihi, that's why it is not suratu, it is surata, because it is maf'ulun bihi, object, it is mansub. Wa huwa mudaf, and then at-tini is mudaf alayh, and aidan, and also memorize suratut teen. So in this lesson we are not going to do the exercise. We do the exercise in the next class, because we want to slowly chew it up, because in this class this is more than enough for us to try and identify the fail, the file, and the maf'ulun bihi. It's an important lesson. So we will take our time to understand this concept, because this is important for us to understand the Quran. So what are we doing now? From now on, when we're reading Quran and then we're pondering upon it, we're not going to get it for the first time. Sometime we'll get confused. Sometime you will say, oh, this is a transitive verb, and I'm just cautioning you in case if somebody is curious and they wanted to apply this knowledge in the Quran, which is very good. Sometime you come across an ayah, or most of the time, and you would say, this is transitive, but I don't see the maf'ul there. There is a maf'ul there, trust me. This is the first step. So only look for ayah where the maf'ul, the way we understand it today, is there. Maf'ul can come in different forms. Okay, just remember for now. in case if somebody is curious and wanted to apply this knowledge. Only look for ayah where you can easily identify the fail, file and the maf'ulun bih. Easily. File would be your marfu and objects, and maf'ulun will be your mansub, like in these ayahs, right? But then there is file. Sometime a jumla can be a maf'ul, but that's another topic for book 3. This is basic concept, basic structure of jumla failya, the verbal sentence. With that, we'll inshallah finish our class. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha laha ma kasabat wa alayha maktasabat. Rabbana la tu'akhizna in nasina aw akhtana. Rabbana wala tahmil alayna isran kama hamaltahu alal lazina min qablina. Rabbana wala tuhammilna ma la taqata lana bih wa'fu anna waghfir lana warhamna anta maulana fansurna alal qawmil kafirin. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.